When disaster strikes, who shows up first? It is a question born in the darkest hours. An earthquake shatters a city. A hurricane rips a coastline apart. A tsunami washes away whole towns. In the chaos and the fear, people look to the horizon. They wait for help. They listen for the sound of engines. Often, the first planes they see. Often, the first ships that arrive. They carry the American flag. This happens again and again. It is a pattern seen across the world for decades. Many people see this as isolated acts. They think it is chance. This isn't luck, it's a system. America's humanitarian response isn't accidental. It is built on logistics, law, innovation, and scale. Rapid deployment is the first critical test of any disaster response. The hours immediately following a catastrophe are a race against time. This is when lives hang in the balance. People are trapped. Injuries are fresh. Water and food are suddenly scarce. The system's success is measured in its ability to get assets on the ground quickly. This means planes and the airships on the move, rescue teams heading toward the disaster zone. It is a logistical ballet of immense scale and complexity, executed under extreme pressure. America's ability to deploy rapidly is rooted in its global military and logistical footprint. Air Force C-17 transport planes are the workhorses of this effort. C-5 transport planes are the workhorses of this effort. They can take off from bases around the world, carrying tons of cargo. They can land on damaged or makeshift runways. Within hours of a go order, these planes are being loaded. Forklifts move pallets of prepackaged meals, water purification units, medical kits. The speed comes from practice. Crews train relentlessly for this exact scenario. They know the procedures. They know the weight limits. They know how to get it done. On the sea, the U.S. Navy provides another layer of capability. Amphibious assault ships, hospital ships are floating cities of support. A ship like the USNS Comfort is a fully equipped trauma center. It can sail to a coastline and provide world-class medical care to thousands of people. Other ships carry helicopters. These aircraft become vital lifelines, able to leapfrog over destroyed roads and bridges. They can airlift search and rescue teams into remote villages. They can evacuate the critically injured. A U.S. Navy helicopter landing in a disaster-stricken area to deliver supplies. This combination of air and sea power allows for a flexible, multi-pronged response. The most visible part of this initial wave is often the search and rescue teams. These are elite units like the USAID Disaster Assistance Response Teams, the DARTs. They are composed of firefighters, paramedics, engineers, logistics experts. They travel with their own equipment, from listening devices that can detect heartbeats under rubble to heavy tools for cutting through concrete. They arrive self-sufficient, ready to work for days without needing local support. Once the first responders are on the ground, the mission shifts to life support. Survival depends on three things: medical care, clean water, food. A disaster zone is a hostile environment for human health. Injuries can become infected. Contaminated water spreads diseases like cholera with terrifying speed. Hunger weakens the body and the spirit. The response system is designed to flood the zone with these basic necessities. It is about stopping the second wave of death that often follows the initial event. Field hospitals are a cornerstone of the medical response. These are not just simple first aid tents. They are sophisticated, modular clinics that can be set up in a matter of hours. They arrive packed in crates. Doctors, nurses, technicians assemble them. Inside, they can perform surgery, set broken bones, treat severe burns. They have their own power generators, medical supplies. For people who have lost their local hospital, these temporary structures are the difference between life and death. The distribution of food and water is a massive logistical challenge. It's not enough to get supplies into the country. They must get to the people who need them. This is where coordination becomes vital. They use trucks, helicopters, airdrops to move supplies. Large-scale water purification units, like the reverse osmosis water purification unit, the ROPU, can be flown in. These machines can turn contaminated floodwater, even seawater, into safe drinking water for thousands of people. Smaller portable filters are also distributed to families. This focus on clean water is a key lesson learned from past disasters. It is a proactive measure that saves countless lives by preventing the outbreak of waterborne diseases, which can be more deadly than the initial disaster itself. In the aftermath of a disaster, the social fabric can tear. Fear and desperation can lead to chaos. Resources are scarce. Competition can become intense. An effective humanitarian response requires a secure and stable environment. People need to feel safe. Aid workers need to be able to do their jobs without interference. Security and stability are a crucial, sometimes controversial, part of the American response. It's about creating order so help can flow. The presence of uniformed personnel often has a calming effect, securing landing zones for helicopters, guarding warehouses filled with supplies. Their disciplined presence deters looting and helps ensure fair distribution by need. Orderly evacuations are another key function. It requires clear communication, transportation, and safe destinations. They provide helicopters. They provide trucks. They provide ships. They help set up temporary shelters. Shelters provide safety, food, and information. Coordination is the invisible architecture of stability. A central command hub brings together leaders, U.S. military, USAID, host government, United Nations, NGOs. In these hubs, they share information and de-conflict operations. They use maps. They use satellite imagery. They use on-the-ground reports to build a common operating picture. That shared understanding prevents wasted effort and turns many groups into a unified force for good. The television cameras leave after a few weeks, and the world's attention moves on to the next crisis. But for the people who live there, the disaster is far from over. The true recovery begins when the emergency phase ends. This is the long, slow process of rebuilding, fixing what was broken, and building back better. The American system recognizes this. The response does not end with food and water. It extends to helping communities get back on their feet, a process that can take months or even years. Reconstruction starts with the basics: power lines, water pipes, roads and bridges, so that commerce and daily life can resume. Engineers from the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers and private contractors funded by American aid bring technical expertise and heavy equipment. Reopening bridges reconnects regions. Power brings businesses back. And kids' homework lights. Rebuilding homes and schools is deeply human. A family needs a roof over its head. A community needs its children back in the classroom. American aid often provides funding and materials. The focus is increasingly on resilient construction. Engineers help develop stronger building codes. They teach local builders new techniques. The goal: reduce vulnerability to the next disaster. A stronger house, a safer school, investments in the future. Economic recovery is also a priority. Disasters destroy livelihoods. A fisherman loses his boat. A farmer's fields salted by a tsunami. A shop owner's inventory ruined. U.S. aid can include micro-grants to help small businesses restart, cash for work programs, hiring locals to clear debris, repairing infrastructure. This injects money into the local economy and gives people dignity and purpose. It helps them move from victims to active participants in recovery. A few weeks later, she is back in business, making clothes for her neighbors. He earns money to feed his family and helps rebuild his community. Why is America so often in a position to lead this kind of response? The answer lies in a unique combination of scale law, logistics innovation. It is not just about having resources. It is about having systems that mobilize those resources globally, built and refined over decades. A national asset often unseen until it's needed most. First, sheer scale. The U.S. military maintains a global network of bases, ports, airfields. It operates the world's largest fleet of transport aircraft and naval vessels. A C-17 can be loaded in Delaware and be on the ground in Southeast Asia in less than a day. Warehouses located in strategic places like Florida, Italy, Dubai are pre-stocked with tons of humanitarian supplies. This forward positioning dramatically cuts down response times. It is the difference between arriving in days versus weeks. Second, a clear legal and policy framework guides the action. The Foreign Assistance Act gives the President authority. It designates USAID as the lead federal agency, creating a clear chain of command. USAID can immediately deploy its DART teams and request support from the Department of Defense. This legal structure enables a swift, whole-of-government response. Third, a deep institutional knowledge of logistics. This is the science of moving people and things from point A to point B. They know how to set up a supply chain in a country with no functioning roads. They know how to manage air traffic at a damaged airport. This expertise is priceless. It allows them to solve complex problems under immense pressure. Finally, there is a culture of innovation. After every major response, there are after-action reviews. What worked? What went wrong? These lessons lead to new tools and procedures. Drones for damage assessment, portable water filters, cash-based assistance. This commitment to improvement ensures the system is always getting better. That's the heart of it. Behind the giant planes and the complex logistics, this is a story about people. The system is run by humans, and it exists to help humans. It is easy to get lost in the statistics. But the true measure is in the individual moments of connection. It is in the face of a child who receives a warm meal and a mother who sees her injured son being treated. These are the stories that give meaning to the entire operation. Think of a search and rescue worker deep in the rubble of a collapsed building. They have been working for hours in the dark, surrounded by dust and instability. They are listening, and then they hear it. A faint cry for help. The entire team focuses on that one spot. They work carefully, moving debris piece by piece, and finally, they pull someone out alive. That single rescue is the culmination of years of training and a massive logistical effort. It is a moment of profound human connection, made possible by the system. Consider a Navy nurse aboard the USNS Comfort. The ship is anchored off a devastated coast. Every day, small boats bring hundreds of patients. The nurse works a 12-hour shift, treating infected wounds, setting bones, comforting people who have lost everything. She may not speak the local language, but a gentle touch and a kind smile are universal. She is a long way from home, but she is providing care that is saving a life and restoring a family's hope. She is the human face of the system. The visible parts of a disaster response, the planes, the ships, the helpers, are all supported by an invisible framework. This framework is made of law, policy, and relentless innovation. These elements may not make for dramatic television, but they are essential. They are the quiet enablers that allow help to move quickly, cross borders smoothly, and become more effective with each new crisis. Without this structure, the response would be slower, more chaotic, and less impactful. International law and diplomatic agreements are a critical piece of this puzzle. You cannot simply fly a military plane into another country's airspace without permission. You cannot unload tons of supplies without customs clearance. The U.S. State Department negotiates these agreements long before disaster strikes. Status of forces and humanitarian access agreements pre-clear the way. Legal handshakes that cut through red tape, allowing rescue teams and aid to enter in hours, not weeks. Technological innovation is constantly making the system smarter and faster. Satellite imagery and drones can provide a bird's-eye view within hours, showing which bridges are down and which roads are open. Mobile tech lets workers register families and track supplies. New medical devices enable hospital-grade diagnoses in the field. Policy innovation like cash assistance lets people buy medicine, food, building materials, supporting local markets. It's a system designed to learn, reducing friction and speeding every step. When disaster strikes, the world needs more than hope. It needs help. It needs a plan. It needs action. The American response to global crises is not a series of random, fortunate events. It is the result of a deliberate and practiced system. People laws machines to bring order to chaos, to save lives when every second counts. It is a reflection of a national belief that with great capacity comes great responsibility. We have seen the components of this system. It begins with rapid deployment. Planes in the air, ships to the coast. It delivers life support through field hospitals, food, and clean water. It creates stability so that aid can be delivered safely. And it stays for the long haul, helping communities rebuild their homes, their schools, and their lives. Powered by logistics, guided by clear laws, improved by innovation. A whole of government effort, USAID, the State Department, and the Department of Defense. But at its core, it is profoundly human. When the world faces its darkest moments, America shows up. Not because it is easy, but because responsibility demands action. This is why America still wins. Systems, rules, routines.